Hi guys, I hope everybody is doing really well. This is a video I've been wanting to make for the last few months. For those of you who don't know, I had hip surgery about 10 months ago, August 2019, on my right hip, and watching YouTube videos on people's experiences with the same problem, the same surgery, really helped me get a good understanding of what to expect, plus many other things that you just don't even realize. Which is why I wanted to make this video in the hopes of helping others who may have the same problem or may be going through hip issues or whatever it is, who love skiing and want to get back to skiing. I think they were the best things for my mental well-being, and also coming to terms with the different outcomes and the differences between different surgeries and those things. There were many videos of people having this surgery, but none who actually skied, so it was really hard for me personally to get a good understanding of what to expect for skiing in particular. So hopefully I can shed some light on this and help you guys. So what surgery did I have? I had a cam lesion removal surgery on the femoral neck, and they also tried to repair my labrum, which wasn't successful, which I'll get into later on. What is a cam lesion? Basically, in simple terms, it's where the neck of the femur isn't exactly symmetrical and thus doesn't fit into the hip socket perfectly, which can cause wear and tear of the cartilage and the labrum in ranges of flexion and flexion with rotations. So basically skiing. There are many videos explaining this on YouTube in detail. So after watching this, if you need to know more, there are always more in-depth explanations from doctors on YouTube. It is also known as FAI, or femoral acetabular impingement. In this first video, I wanted to talk more about what the pain was and how it started in skiing, and hopefully that can help you. These things are always hard to really understand exactly when it happened, as probably to get to the first onset of major symptoms, for me it would have had to have already been in a bad state, I think. Before this major pain started happening, I can only think of one incident where I hurt my hips in skiing. About 4 years ago now, I had a bad crash and I did the splits and I could hardly walk for 2 weeks. So my legs were split out to the side, externally rotated, abducted, and I face planted, but where the damage in my hip wasn't in the same area that they did the repair on the surgery. Where they did the repairs in the surgery and where this crash theoretically should have affected are two different areas. So I'm unsure if this was the actual cause, but after the crash I did start having sore hip flexors after long days of skiing, and it always felt like I needed to stretch them out, but stretching just didn't help. It always became achy after the stretch and long days of skiing. So basically the real symptom happened in December 2018 while I was working. I was running training for the ski school. It was the first week of the season. I hit a little bump in the middle of a left turn and I felt my hip flexor, sharp pain, really sharp. One bad enough that I stood up and I had to kind of slide out the rest of the turn. I shook it off and I continued skiing. I came up to a steeper section. It was a little bit more bumpy. I skied some short turns down the bumps and I hit a bump normally, like every other time, on a left turn again, and bam, this time it felt like someone had stabbed me with a blunt knife right in the hip flexor. It was that bad that I nearly puked in my neck buff. It was excruciatingly painful, but the pain went away as fast as it came and I went in for the day after that. The next day I woke up, I felt fine, and I went up to run training again, and it happened on the first run. So I skied down and it happened a few more times on the way down. The pain came on and it was unbearable. It takes your breath away. It was the sharpest stab. I've never felt anything like it before, so I don't really have anything to compare it to. At this point I knew it was pretty serious, so I looked into getting a physio appointment that afternoon. For the first few months it only happened while skiing randomly, doing any type of skiing, beginner skiing or advanced skiing, didn't matter, and on my left turns that was the only time it happened. But by May and June it was happening while getting in and out of the car, washing the dishes, and even walking. Anywhere, just randomly throughout the day, not all the time. There was no consistency of movement that it just created this pain, which was also very strange too. Anyway, in the next video I'm going to talk about the diagnosis. So I went to so many specialists, got so many opinions, it was so hard to get one, and this can be the part for people that I could imagine you would just give up from just trying to find out and get answers as to what is this pain that I'm having. That's what it was like for me anyway. I could hardly find anybody that could give me a definitive answer because the hip is very complicated. There's so many little muscles, there's so many little things going on. I know why it's complicated. I know why the people and the specialists had a hard time diagnosing it. But being diligent and finding a good specialist and getting the correct information is really, really important, I believe. Anyway, it'll be really interesting to know if any of you guys who watch my videos have had this surgery, who has had this surgery, who has been thinking about getting this surgery, if they've been diagnosed with FAI. What are the results for you guys? I'd love to hear in the comments below. Anyway, until the next video. If you'd like to learn more and improve your skiing, I highly recommend you head over to the Projected Productions website and sign up for the All Access Pass that has 7+ hours of ski instructional material from the world's best ski coaches and instructors.